is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We won a grand tournament over the last weekend. We played Chaos Space Marines. We're going to do a 5-video event because it was 5 games. We went the only person to go 5-0. And I wanted to share with you guys kind of tactics, what we did good, what we could have done better, the lists we played against. And the last game was a very, very super competitive game. We actually beat the guy who won Atlantic City Open this year. First time I got to meet him and play against him. Really cool dude. But we're going to go over each game for you guys. I'm going to save the beginning of this clip. So if you guys have already seen this, fast forward to where the video starts. But we're going to go over the list specifically in every single video, just so you guys know exactly what we did for each video. So if you guys play a specific army, you can click on the video and see everything you guys need. So guys, appreciate it. Let's get into the video. First, I'd like to thank all of my Patreons. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. You guys help grow the channel. We did just hit 7,000 subscribers as of making this video. So you'll see kind of how much we grew since then. But first off, we're going to go into the merch. So like I said, if you guys already seen this, fast forward to the video. But we got merch, $1 for Dirtbag Dice. We got a bunch of different colors. We have green, orange, silver, blue, and a black, red color dice, which is, they all look sick. And all these stickers we sell with the dice. And then we have models such as the Kaldis Assassin and Codiez. We are working on other models for 3D prints as well, but they are pretty similar to what you see on the tabletop, so you can use them as proxies. And then also the objective markers, if you see them in any of the games, they are sold in the link below. If you guys are interested in getting some new objective markers, you can pick any one of the pictures you see to my left here and put them on an objective mark and change the color for each one as well. They're all customizable. So that's the merch. But let's get into the video. First off, we're going to go over the list. So starting off at the top, we bring Abaddon the Spoiler. Now this isn't needed. There's a lot of lists out there that run triple Curse Cultists with triple Lords and Chosen, stuff like that. We didn't bring any of the Chosen or any of the Lords in this matchup or in this grand tournament. We were mainly focused on Abaddon and the Accursed Cultists. And if you could deal with the Accursed Cultists, then you still have to deal with Abaddon. So Abaddon specifically with this list, you bring him for the 4+ invuln save. It gets around a lot of different stuff. It's a 6-inch aura, so every single turn you're going to have basically one of your Accursed Cultist models within 6 inches of Abaddon. So that way you can have your entire unit have a 4+ invuln save. So it skews the math so much by having a little model tank a 4+ invuln melt a shot to the face multiple times coming in. So the way to kill this is mass volume of attacks compared to big shots trying to kill big guys in the unit. Because then you just take it on a little dark commune model and they die, and then boom, you don't really lose anything from it. So he's in there specifically for the 4+ invuln, and he takes care of any major tanks or huge units that you're really afraid of getting to you, because he's kind of just camping behind a wall, and then you need to launch him out when you need to launch him out. But Abaddon still super good, 310 points. And then we got the Dark Commune. We have 2 of them as Undivided, and one of them is Nurgle. I started to run the Nurgle Undivided because when you start them on the table, you at least have a unit that can't be shot at outside 12 inches. And it really helps with turn 1 and turn 2 by taking over the center or taking over an objective that you want to just camp your 30 OBSEC unit onto, and then people have to get close to deal with them, or if they get too close, you just advance in charge and get in their face with your Nurgle unit. Now, they don't do too much damage compared to the Undivided, but they're there just to be a nuisance and kind of control the board in the center and on a far objective, because they can't be shot with the Nurgle strat. Now, we have 3 units of these guys because they naturally give the unit a 5+ invuln save, but once per game, you can do the advance and charge, +1 hit, +1 wound, which kills almost anything in the game, especially with full rerolls to hit, full rerolls to wound for 1 CP. So 2 units of Undivided, 1 with Nurgle. Then Cultist mobs, I just love this in Chaos Space Marines because they have sticky objective. So you always start 1 unit of these guys on your home field objective, so that way you at least make it sticky. So if they do happen to die, you still have a sticky objective that you can still get points. This has saved so many games getting that extra 5 or 10 points just because you have your home field objective. Again, it also helps with secondaries, where if you control your home field objective and then control center objective, you get points for your secondary game as well. So unit of cultists, almost 100% in all my lists. This list has 2 Curse Cultists, just so you can have 2 extra blob squads that one can do for blocking out your opponent. Move blocking, which we're going to do a video on, but move blocking, running to the center, stealing an objective, or just kind of getting secondary objectives in the corners if you want to put one into reserves as well. But again, they're both Nurgle just because the Nurgle on your defensive units is so good, because if you need them to survive for points, you can't be shot outside 12 inches. So let's say they're bombarding you with Plague Burst Crawlers from super far away, you could just spend 1 CP. Now they can't shoot at your Nurgle unit on turn 1 because you really want to make that home field objective sticky. So a unit of Legionnaires to piggyback with Abaddon. Abaddon does kind of need a bodyguard unit, so you can just spend 90 points for an extra 10 wounds, all with a 4-up invuln save because they're going to be attached to Abaddon, and they have all the marks. So they're able to advance and charge if you need to, fall back, shoot and charge, get exploding 5s or 5s to shooting, or 5s in melee because they're corn. So they get all the marks, which is great. You can bring a last cannon. I'm probably going to switch it up and get rid of the last cannon, but again, I'm not sure. Just one extra random shot that can explode on 5s. Strength 12 -1 d6 +1 damage is not bad, just to have an extra long shot. It might be the first one to die in your unit, but that's fine. And why you bring the Legionnaires is you put them with Abaddon. So if the model is on an objective, let's say you charge a unit and that unit's on an objective, Abaddon gains the full rerolls to wound because of the Legionnaires. So he has devastating wounds, 3 damage, AP 4. So he's running in, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s because of Undivided, and then getting full rerolls to wound, most of the time wounding on 2s. So he's just doing so many devastating wounds to the unit that you're attacking because of the Legionnaires. The last thing that you bring the Legionnaires for is because of the reroll for the Dark Pact. So Abaddon gets me a 2-up Dark Pact CP. So if you fail your Dark Pact, you can have these guys re-roll it because of the icon in the unit. So you roll 5 up. If you don't roll it, you get 1 free reroll because of the icon. And then if you pass it, then you roll 2+. So many times I failed a 5 up, and then you re-roll it because of the Legionnaires, and then boom, you get your Dark Pact for a 2-up save or 2-up CP, which is huge. So then obviously you have your 3 accursed cultists attached with your Dark Communes. 2 are Undivided, 1 is Nurgle. Spikes, very good for secondary mission. They're 85 points. They're also Nurgle because you could bring Plasma Pistol and 2 Plasma Guns. So basically, you're coming in on the side table edge with 5 Plasma Shots, overcharging, obviously, and Dark Pacting. So you're exploding on 5s, and then you're Strength 8, so you're just nuking Marines most of the time coming in from the board edge. I've killed 5, 6, 7 Marines with these guys coming in, hitting on 3s, exploding on 5s, and then wounding on 2s. AP 3, 2 damage. It's kind of scary what these guys potentially could do, plus all the bolter shots, which I almost always forget about. But really good coming in from the side table edge. But what really makes them good is you can block out so much of your backfield with them. So as long as you keep them within 6 inches of the board edge, you can take them off the board edge at the end of your opponent's turn and bring them back on. So almost every single turn you're taking them off, because once you get your secondaries drawn, you can then bring them back on either the same spot, just because if you need to block out the board edge, you block out the board edge. But if you need them that turn, let's say investigate signals, behind enemy lines, engage in all fronts, or just block out an edge, you can bring them on, keep them 2 inches away from each other, bring them in 6 inches, and then boom, that's a huge 25-inch gap that you can block out of deep strikes or something like that. So they're really good for secondaries and really good at blocking out the backfield. And if you need them to come in late game to shoot something, they could do that as well. 2 Forge Fiends, because they're just super good for their points still. 1 Nurgle. This one should be Undivided, so I changed it in, I think, my tournament list. So I changed it to Undivided because it performed so well in test games. So I'm actually changing it right now. So the Undivided, it is always a 1 in reserves. The Nurgle one starts on the table, so it can't be shot at turn 1. So you put it behind the wall or something, and you always want to make sure you can walk at 8 inches and potentially get a shot off on something. But that one's starting on the table because it has the Nurgle strat, so you won't be able to be shot back outside 12 inches. So the Undivided comes in from a table edge almost always, and then gets a line of sight to what you want to kill. It's made to kill 10 squads of Terminators. So 10-man units or Terminators, that's basically what the Forge Fiends are made to kill. But also killing tanks and stuff because of the Undivided you spend 1 CP to reroll hits and wounds. So your devastating wounds just get carried over like extreme because of the rerolls. So 1 Nurgle, 1 Undivided with the Forge Fiends. And then we have 3 units of 3 Nurglings. They're just super good for blocking out secondaries, turn 1, objectives, all that stuff. So they're OBSEC 0. They can't go through walls, so make sure you remember that. You start them. I usually start 2 on the table and 1 in Deep Strike. So depending on if you need to move block or block out turn 1, like let's say you're facing Space Wolves or Orcs, you're going to want to try and block out, move block your opponent as much as possible. Nurglings are really good with that, and they have -1 to hit within 6 inches in combat, which a lot of people forget about. So it's a huge aura of -1 to hit with all everything, I think, besides vehicles and monsters. So really good aura for a 35-point unit that can infiltrate and also help out with the Seekers. So the Seekers have the pregame move 9 inches, but you can't pregame move within 9 inches of another unit. So if your opponent has infiltrators and you have infiltrators, you're going to want to put down your infiltrators first and spread them out. So that way you have a little path. So your Nurglings can then, or your Seekers can move up behind them turn 1 if you have turn 1. If you have turn 2, where you don't go second or first, you can move them defensively, the Seekers, behind a wall or a ruin or whatever, so they can't be shot turn 1. But if you do at first, your Seekers can pregame move 9 inches up, and they're not blocked out by other infiltrators because of your Nurglings, and then they can move up 14 and go do something, whether it be a secondary or move block, which you're going to see a lot in this tournament, or charge something really small turn 1 just to get them across the table. So Seekers played huge stuff in this 5 match GT over the weekend. And then we have Celeste. She is just super good into Eldar, and she's really good for secondaries just because she can come back up on a 2+, and she has 9 freaking wounds for some reason. T6, 9 wounds, 4 up invuln save, and doesn't kill a lot. I've noticed, like, doesn't really kill anything. She's just mainly there to come down, flame or something, move up, charge something, hold something up in combat, but really just be there for secondaries. She has an assault weapon, so once she's down on the table, she can advance and do an action because she has an assault weapon. So again, really good at just speed 9, like 8 or 9, like really fast. So that's why she's in the list. 120 points, well worth it, because when she gets back up on a 2+, it's full wounds. So basically you're getting 2 of these models for 120 points. So that's the list. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, and then we'll get into each video, starting with 1 through 5, depending on what video your guys are on. All right, guys, so we are on game 2 of the 5-game series. This is against another Space Wolf player called Keegan. Super friendly guy, really good player. Knew a lot about the Space Wolves. I think he was in the military, so thank you for your service. Really clicked with our boy Keeble as well. So this is his list, a little bit actually really different from the first Space Wolf player. So in this list, we're going to go through it. We got big ass tanks, which you guys will love how this ended up throughout the game. Just so stay tuned for that. Big ass Land Raider with the Flamers. I think it's the Redeemer. Really good tank into a Curse Cultist. 2 of the big ass tanks that the last guy had with just a million guns. Little Space Wolf unit with the Cyber Wolf character. He's got a unit of the 10 Salt Marine dudes down here. A unit of the 5 Jump Pack guys. These melt guys are not in the list, so ignore those guys. We have these guys are so annoying. I don't know who they are. They're basically 3 wounds, like -1 to wound or something, or +1 to their save if it's a damage 1 weapon. Like, they were really hard to deal with. T6, like, they're really good. I don't know why I don't see them more often, but they're really freaking good. The captain dude, you guys probably know this guy more than I do, but he's really scary in combat. He's with the assault guys in the Land Raider. This unit, another assault squad with all the melee weapons. This dude, who's another character, was leading the unit. We have infiltrators, which usually are in the backfield for him, is what he said. And then down here we have 2 Space Wolf calves with one has 2 leaders in it. One has another leader in it, and then he's got a unit of the plasma dudes jumping in, intercessors within 3 inches. So that is his list. Super quick, super tanky, and gets into combat as soon as possible. So really, really cool list. The mission is priority targets. So this is hold 1, hold 2. At the end of the game, you get hold up to 15. And this is the deployment. So we used his objectives because he set up the table. This was right after lunch. And the deployment is within 9 inches of the center, which is pretty cool. If you did fixed, this is one where you actually have to add additional secondaries. So we actually had to add additional one in the center. So there's 4 objectives in the center, and then 1 in our deployment zones. So this one probably should have done fixed, but I don't have a lot of practice with fixed. So with this, I just did secondaries, tactical, just to kind of see how it goes. But he lined up really aggressively, and we lined up pretty aggressively as well. We had our seekers right here, so that way they can move out and then get the blockage off. Nurglings again up front. We have another unit of Nurglings in this corner, and then we have our cultists pretty aggressively up front. The green guys out front, so he can't shoot me outside of 12 inches. That's what they're there for. The red guys are behind the wall. Abaddon's pretty far forward behind the wall as well, but he can't get charged turn 1 because he's surrounded by these guys. You want to protect Abaddon as much as possible. They're in the back here, just kind of blocking the backfield, and then we have the Legionnaires spread out as well with Abaddon, but Forge Fiend back here so we can scooch out this way and get line of sight onto these Cav, because if you draw the line, I can see him because he's in the ruin. So I can draw a line of sight straight this way, 36 inches, to my Forge Fiend on the back here. So he peeks out, shoots 36 inches through this way to get up to the Cav over there. That essentially, that was the goal, turn 1. So then turn 1, sorry, this was his deployment over here. So he had big tanks lined up right on the edge, this really tough unit on the board edge. The infiltrators in the back, so I can't deep strike anywhere in the backfield within 12. Cav, little ponies, big tank, not more Cav. So he gets turn 1, actually, and he gets bring it down and investigate signals, which he ditches bring it down because there's absolutely no way he's going to be able to get really any of these because he didn't really set up for investigate signals turn 1. His guys are too far away over here to get investigate back there, and then bring it down. All my shit's hidden, so he can't really do anything. On our turn 1, we move up our seekers from here to kind of go backwards this way to get behind this cover, so that way he actually has to peek out and shoot this way to try and shoot our seekers. So we just back them up a little bit behind over here. The Nurglings are just chilling right there, but he gets turn 1, so he moves up all of his stuff over here. He advances his dogs up onto the objective right here, just toes one of them, and then these guys scooch up. They try to get an advance onto the objective, but he didn't roll high enough, so he's kind of just chilling out here. And since the dogs are OPSEC 0, he's actually not able to control that objective on that point. So, and then everything else kind of scooted up. He wanted to shoot our Nurglings, but we spent 1 CP, so that way he can't target them, and everything else is basically behind cover. So this is where we end up. The tank moves up here. The Cavs stay where they are, so they don't, he doesn't sacrifice them to Nurglings. So he just kind of puts all of the shots in the Nurglings, kill the Nurglings, which is fine. And then the Land Raider scooched up on the objective. These guys advance up, don't get to the objective. This thing moves up as well. So everything's kind of just scooching up. Now, our turn 1 was trying to be as big and aggressive as possible. So we get overwhelming force and assassination. So we have to try and control objectives in the center, or kill people off the objectives in the center. And then we have to get assassination. So luckily, this little dog thing that was towing the objective was the character. So all we had to do was shoot the character, kill the unit, and get overwhelming force and assassination turn 1. So luckily, we had really good picking secondaries, and he actually gave it to us with that 1 dog unit over there. So the bikes actually scooted up, got line of sight onto these dogs over here, and shot all of them with the bolters and plasmas, and we were able to kill all of the dogs because they're actually pretty easy to kill. The Seekers scooted up and kind of just blocked these wolves from getting around. We put as much as we can on the objective, just so they can kind of, again, move block. And then the Nurglings moved up to get -1 to hit if they charge my Seekers, but they have to run around the building because they're cavalry. So the dogs either have to run this way, which kind of takes them out of the fight, or they have to fight their way through the Seekers over here at -1 to hit because of the Nurglings. These guys moved up and did their advance and charge turn 1, so basically moved up. Actually, I don't think they needed to advance and charge. Yeah, because I think they just... Yeah, they probably advanced and charge. So they scooch up, they advance up. We keep Abaddon behind the wall because we don't want to commit Abaddon too early. Everything else kind of spread out. Forge Fiend moved up to get some shots off on this Cav unit. Doesn't kill a lot of them because they have a 4-up invuln save. These guys advance up to tie up the tank. I want to try and surround the tank as much as possible so he has to, kill some people. These guys move up. They don't do their advance and charge. They just move up to try and get a charge off on these guys. The cultists do the same thing, so they move from over here to on here. That's about a 6-inch charge on the tank, so that way I can charge a tank, and kind of surround the tank as much as possible. So the guys inside are going to have a more difficult time getting out of the transport. And we can kind of hold this objective as well. So after the charges, this is what we end up with. I fail my charge on my cultists, so they're kind of stuck back here. These guys make the charge, so they kind of charge out and block out this much of the tank. The tank is basically stuck where it is. It can't fall back unless it wants to roll a 1 or a 2 for desperate escape, and then it dies. This tank lived on 4 wounds after we made the charge. So what he does is he gets his guys out of the tank and then falls back his tank over here. And then the guys move up to get the charge off over here. So there's 3 cav left after shooting at the Forge Fiend. So I guess I killed 1 of them. And then over here, he basically murders my Seekers over there. So he gets the charge ready. These guys get out. These guys get out. The cav are ready to go in. The tank's stuck. This tank it doesn't have to move. And then these guys scooch up and finish off the cultists down here. Or at least 6 of the cultists down here. So on our turn, his turn, he gets a tempting target and extend battle lines. So tempting target, I had to pick this one because this one I knew he was going to kill pretty easily. This one he is going to scooch around and get onto the objective and kill most of this, which I wasn't confident of this unit living. That's why I didn't pick this one. And this one he already has. So my most beneficial one would be this one to try and help survive this red unit. And it forces his units to go more towards Abaddon, which is kind of what I wanted. So after his turn, this is what we have left. So he kills all but my one dude here. Again, volume of fire is what kills a cursed cultist, even with a 4-up invuln save. So all we have left is our character right here. You killed all of the unit. We still have a lot of the green guys left. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little guys. And then his big ass unit moved out here, charged in. Unit over here moved out, charged in, stole the objective. The cav couldn't get the charge off because everything else was blocked. This is where they ended the charge. So the cav couldn't really charge in. So they're stuck there for another turn. These guys are over here, right there, not really in anything. And then we rapid ingressed these guys on his turn too. So the unit of a cursed cultist get rapid ingressed over here, which is what their job is to do. So they come in, prepare for the next turn to move up, advance and charge, and kind of tie over the rest of this board edge. So these guys came down over here as well to try and shoot my Forge Fiend, which they take it down to 2 wounds. So this Forge Fiend only has 2 wounds left. Bikes are still up here chilling. We have a Forge Fiend, Sile, Celeste, and Nurgling still in reserves. So on our turn 2, we get capture enemy outpost and defend stronghold. So defend stronghold, hopefully we should get if we can kill these 2 intercessors, as well as capture enemy outpost. He only has a unit of infiltrators over here, which I believe are either 1 or 2 OPSEC. So if I can fall back my green unit up here and either get the charge off or just pile onto this objective over here, I'll be able to steal the enemy outpost and defend the stronghold. I just have to try and keep them from getting to my backfield. So I spend 1 CP. I fall back my green squad. I make dudes. So I make 3 guys to stay on this objective to keep this objective. But I fall back, and then we make our charge onto the squad over here to steal the objective over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the objective. And even if he has 5 that are 2 OBSEC, we're still controlling this thing over here. We then consolidate into this tank, which still has 4 wounds, and we just tie it up just for a turn. He's got 2 characters left because we killed the squad with our undivided Forge Fiend walking in over here. The Nurglings basically hop out over here and just kind of run around and tie up these guys on this objective, so that way it moves block them for 1 more turn. And then Abaddon scooches up and finishes off both of these squads. So Sile comes down, does some sprays. Oh, he doesn't shoot them. He shoots the 10-man squad. So he shoots the 10-man squad, kills a ton of them. The 5-man squad that's left with the character, and then this guy left with the character, we're able to finish it off with just Abaddon alone. So he splits combat into both of them. So we charge both of them. Abaddon puts 4 and 4, kills the character off, kills the other squad off, and then we take over this objective. So Sile's there, Abaddon's there, just waiting to be shot with everything. The yellow unit advances and charges. I should have just put more attacks into this unit just to finish this unit off, but that was my mistake. I didn't know how tanky this unit was until now. So if I put more of the big guys into this unit just to clear them off and then tie up these 2 tanks just for another turn, that's what I should have done over here. So the 4 regular cultists scooch up, charge a tank just to kind of keep it where it is. And then we finish up by charging these 2 guys and these 2 guys left over here. We did happen to kill the intercessors over here with the bikes. The bikes came back, charged, shot, charged, and then the 10-man cultists moved back, shot, and charged the interceptors on my home field just so I can try and keep my home field objective for 3 points. So that is the end of my turn, which we did get 8 for capture enemy outpost and 3 for defend stronghold. So going into his turn 3, we then make 3 more guys in the command phase. These 2 guys scooch up. The tank, basically that tank and this tank was able to kill Abaddon and the unit pretty easily. So I lost Abaddon that turn to all the shooting coming in from all of these guys. And the Nurglings, again, did their job by keeping them in the corner over there. So he doesn't have anybody on this objective, and this guy doesn't have anybody on this objective. He then charges, I believe, the bottom. So he charges this into the squad and kind of goes from there. He gets on this turn overwhelming force and aerial denial. So we measured out the center. So he has this guy wholly within 6 inches of the center. I don't have anybody within 3, so he gets aerial denial. And then killing people on objective, he killed Abaddon and this guy on the objective, plus the Nurgling. So that was pretty easy for him as well. And then at the end of the next turn, I get extend battle lines and investigate signals. So at this point of the game, it was coming down to like pretty close with points. So I didn't take a lot more pictures of this, but I'll go over what happened next. So we finished off these 2 guys in the bottom here. None of the tanks died, which I was kind of bummed about, that I didn't kill literally any of the tanks. I just didn't have enough oomph, being toughness 12. So even auto wounding on 6s, he has a 2-up save on all of them. So 3-ups with the AP 1, they just don't die. So I just wanted to kill all the infantry and leave his tanks. So all he has left up here is the infiltrators, which just didn't die either. I couldn't get these guys on the other side of the wall to get the attacks on them. He was more than 1 inch away on this side, so to get attacks on them, I had to be within 1 inch or base to base of another unit. So they basically were just kind of stuck with one guy over there on the other side of the wall, and I couldn't basically spread out further over here. So we wanted to kill the 2 characters, the guys on this objective and these wolves, without basically Abaddon, which would have been hard. So at the end of the game, all he had left was these guys. Finally finished off these 2 guys. All he had left was 2 tanks, this tank. We killed off these 2 characters, one with the Undivided Forge Fiend, one with the Nurgle Forge Fiend. The bikes scooted up and shot these guys for a turn. the Nurglings came down deep strike to block these guys off again. So they basically came down within 9 inches over here and then blocked them off another turn. And then Sile scooted up to try and help tie these guys up for another turn. So these guys were all that's left and 3 tanks. We finished off the infiltrators and these guys, and then all we had left was 2 Forge Fiends, one pretty hurt, 2 bikes. Sile, I think, died to these guys, 1 Nurgle unit, and then a green unit. That was it. So it really just came down to tying up as much as possible, especially with the tanks, and stopping his Thunderwolf Cav from getting the charge off. So the whole game, the Cav started here and finished up here the entire game. So first they killed the Seekers, then they killed the Nurglings, then they killed the other Nurglings and Sile. So they did get most of his points the entire game with this unit right here. So if I would have focused more on them early on, I probably could have stopped a lot of points. But for his points on priority targets, he had 10 turn 2, 5, mainly because of this unit. And then he had 38 out of 40 for secondaries, mainly because of this unit. And then capture enemy outposts on turn 3. He deep struck these guys down here to try and get the charge off, failed. And then the next turn, he rolled a 6 for the advance to get the advance on my objective to steal it. So that's how we got 8 points on turn 4. So that was a good roll. I said he should have just moved up, charged this guy, and once he kills it, he then just piles onto the objective to almost guarantee that you're going to get on the objective. So he finished up with 38 out of 40. So he had a 73 for points, and then we finished up with a 92. We had 45 for primary, 37 out of 40 on secondaries. So turn 5, we had cleanse for 5, and then attempting target. I couldn't get his Thunderwolf Cav off that objective, so I couldn't get a tempting target. So that was my bad on that one. So pretty good game, really good matchup into Keegan, really good player, but we had just too much tying up of his tanks and focused down most of his melee unit in one turn. So once all of his guys came out of his fucking tanks, we had to focus them down with the Forge Fiend and Abaddon killing out. So Abaddon did come out, kill a bunch, and then die in return, which again, anytime you play Abaddon, you need to get the points back to make it essentially worth it. So I didn't really have any Curse Cultists near me. I was really benefiting from the 4+. The other one was all the way down here. The other one died. And then it was just the green unit left that was tying up infiltrators in the back. So he kind of did the 4-up invuln save. Now he has to go back and make his points up. So that's why we committed him, moved up, charged, killed both characters, and finished off essentially 2 units to get points. And we took over this objective and killed models on the objective. So he got his points back, soaked up a lot of damage from the tanks, which took away shots from my Curse Cultists, which was getting me points in the end of the game. So that was game 2 of the 5-game series. The next game coming up is against our boy Zach with Blood Angels. So that is always a good game against Zach. He beat me last time without running Abaddon. So this time with running Abaddon, it was a big difference. I'll go over specifically what happened turn by turn, just like we did here. Let me know in the comments below what you liked, didn't like, how we can improve on these types of videos and battle reports. And then the next thing coming up on the channel, if you guys notice a lot of tactical videos, join the Patreon so you can see these videos ahead of time before they hit YouTube. Usually it's a week, sometimes 2 weeks early, depending on how many videos we have lined up. So if you guys want to see these ahead of time, that's over on the Patreon page. And again, getting in the competitive scene, that's a competitive dirtbag. You guys get to message me one-on-one, so we go over tactics, list ideas, and mission or games that are coming up for you so we can get you better at 10th edition. So guys, appreciate it. Good luck. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for video 3 coming up right after this one. What's up, gents? Welcome to the Dirtbag Nation Patreon page. This is going to be support to the Dirtbag Nation. Just to give you a little insight on what we're trying to do and trying to grow into, we're trying to grow a brand name of the Dirtbag Nation, 40k Dirtbags, going all over the country and coaching people to get better at the game of 40k. We have really good coaching over at the Dirtbag Nation. Myself is ranked #1 for Grey Knights in the world last year in 9th edition. This year, we're currently ranked #1 Chaos Space Marine player in the world on ITC 40k rankings. So we have a lot of experience over at the channel, and a lot of the coaches are going to start joining in and joining the Dirtbag Nation to help you guys get better at 40k. If you guys are new to the Patreon page, we have a couple different tiers. The first tier is the $1 tier. That's basically just coming over, supporting us for $1 a month. You get first access to the Dirtbag videos up on Patreon. The next tier is a $5 tier. Basically, you get first access as well as just have a little bit more branding with the Patreon Discord page. And you want to support us a little bit more than $1 a month. I really appreciate both you guys. The $10 tier is the competitive Dirtbag page. That's where we get more into the tactics, one-on-one coaching on the Discord. And if you guys have any questions, comments, list ideas, tactics, or game questions, you guys get to message us one-on-one through Discord. Make sure you take advantage of that because it's completely up to you to ask me any questions you possibly need in the 40k community. Finally, we have the Grandmaster Dirtbag. That Dirtbag is above and beyond. They come out and they basically want us to coach them one-on-one with calls on via Discord, TTS games, battle reports, or any tactical videos that you guys want suggestions to. You guys will get first access to, and we actually play live games for you guys, or go over battle reports for our Grandmasters. Anything armies that you want to see specifically on the tabletop, that's the Grandmaster Dirtbag page. So it's just an explanation on what the different tiers are for Patreon. But again, thank you so much for the support. If you guys are thinking about it, you do have really good coaching. We drink beers, we have fun, we just kind of chill out and teach you guys how to have fun at 40k, unlike some other people on YouTube. But have fun at 40k, be good, win some games, more than you're averagely winning over there all over the world. And if you guys really just want to support the channel, we have our $1 and $5 a month as well. There's all the stickers and dice available to you guys at a discount, and you have your own Patreon tab in Discord that nobody else has access to besides you guys. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We're going to grow Dirtbag Nation as much as we possibly can in 2024 and get it all thanks to you guys. Appreciate it.